You're too old to be wearing that. That was the comment a lot of people were saying on videos this summer of women around my age wearing jean shorts, amongst other things. But I noticed it and found it shocking on the jean shorts videos because they're just jean shorts. They were not particularly revealing. They were not extra short. They were what I would consider to be normal shorts, and the only kind of shorts I own, actually. And it was women shaming these women, saying they're too old to be wearing this clothing item. And is there an age in which you need to stop wearing things that are deemed young? Is there an age where you turn in your jean shorts and you only shop at Chico's and Talbot's? And if so, when is that age and who gets to determine that? So the shorthand is that I looked at a bunch of studies, and that ageism is discrimination. It's a form of discrimination, and it is internalized, and the people saying the comments don't realize that they have this internalized ageism and sexism because it is also gender-based, and that is their outward projection of it. And they're not just projecting it on you or in the comments, but they're projecting on themselves, right? So they don't realize it's happening. But here's the thing, we're all doing it, right? We're all at times thinking, I think they're a little too old to be wearing that they feel like they're dressing too young, or they're desperate to appear younger. And perhaps that they are in some cases. But who is determining what is the right way to dress at what age? And when does that age cutoff happen? And why? Why do you have to dress a certain way after a certain age for society to think it's reasonable? And why is it unreasonable to wear certain things? So I did a bunch of research, and there are a bunch of studies looking into this, but the conclusion does always come to the fact that it's internalized ageism and sexism. And it is what is wrong with ageism. And as a culture, we have to nip it in the bud because it is actually a problem. Ageism is a problem, and we're all doing it. We're all guilty of it. But here are some ideas or concepts I want you to think about moving forward. So here's some of my research. Some older women report not dressing the way they might actually want to for fear of being judged. So there's a whole bunch of women who may want to wear something more playful, funky, revealing, who knows what, but they don't because they're actually fearing judgment. And rightfully so, because everybody's spewing judgment on them anyway. And this great PhD thesis or dissertation that I read that I appreciated, I don't know the full name of the person, but they're A. Wilmot. They did their PhD based on women who grew up during the punk era, during what was naturally an era of rebellion. To be punk was to be rebellious. So they wrote, as a subculture characterized by the anti-authority attitude and the resistance to convention, women who identified with punk may be better equipped to resist conforming to wider cultural expectations of aging. So because they've already sort of had their rebelliousness sort of under their belt, it's a lot less scary to be a rebellious older woman. I kind of loved the idea of that. And that's not the only time I've seen this, too. In a critical review by Julia Twigg, published on Cambridge.org, she notes older women are able to use clothing to resist or redefine the dominant meanings of age. So dressing how you want, even if it's deemed by culture to be too young for you, is actually an act of resistance. And I love that concept. So I would like people to think of it more like that than to think of it as dressing too young for your age. Instead, you're part of the rebellion. You're punk rock. You're an individual. You don't fall into cultural norms, and you're not told what to do. Another thing I want to point out is that it is inherently sexist. Men don't get told that they're too old to dress a certain way, but women do. And they're judged, women's value is wrapped up in their youth and their beauty. So once that goes, you're supposed to suddenly become something different according to society and according to our internal understanding. So those of us who are saying things like, I'm too old, or we notice our wrinkles and we obsess about them, we notice our bodies changing, we obsess about it, we notice gray hairs, we obsess about it, that is internal ageism and sexism at work. So we're not free from it. but we do have to do our part in trying to fight it, because it is like a widespread, essentially a disease, is to be ageist and sexist within the ageism. So I'd like to point out, so for example, Adam Sandler, okay, he's in his 50s. He dresses famously with the least amount of effort possible. Super baggy basketball shorts, super baggy, unflattering t-shirts, and just like sneakers. Now, it's always hanging loose and sloppy, but we love him for it, right? It is Adam Sandler core, and we're okay with it, even though inherently that's very youthful style dressing. That's like streetwear, it's unpolished, it's literally what young people could get away with, but not a 50-some-odd-year-old professional man. And he doesn't get any criticism for it. I would say the most he might get is that he doesn't necessarily dress up for special occasions. That might be criticism, but I honestly think he doesn't really get much criticism for that. He's actually probably praised. And I love him, so I'm not criticizing him, but I'm using him as a comparison. Because if you have the equivalent woman showing up in the equivalent outfit. So I don't mean basketball shorts and a baggy t-shirt, but let's say a 20-something can wear those super baggy basketball shorts, t-shirt, and sneakers. Then 20-something-year-old woman, did I say man before because I meant it, woman, she, let's say, is in the jean shorts and crop top and heels, okay? So let's say those are 20-something outfits. They would be understood and okay in society if 20-somethings wore those outfits of each gender. But now a 50-something-year-old man can wear that outfit without the words, oh, he's too old to be wearing that. But a 50-something-year-old woman wearing that outfit, the jean shorts, crop top, whatever, they'd be saying she's trying too hard to be young. She's too old for that. And that is inherently sexist, and it's in most of us, and it is a problem. Now, oh, and also they'd also get criticism, right? Oh, if she's not skinny enough for it or whatever the deal is. They don't want to see it. Oh, they don't want to see it on somebody her age. So there's just all this cultural rules and regulations that we're all just adhering to, even though there's no good reason for it. It's not a health thing, it's not a safety thing, it's not a professional thing, etc. It's disappointing when you see those comments and you have those inherent desires or immediate responses to want to comment on posts sometimes and say these things. I think we're all a little judgmental, if not a lot, and we have these impulsive thoughts, and the internet is somehow a place where we all think we're here to share our thoughts unbridled and unasked for, but we do need to self-reflect. So I would say, in conclusion, the goal is that you dress who you want to be for the rest of your life, and that you don't at some point have to worry about what other people think, because you'd be actually rebelling against society by just dressing how you want at any age. That it's an act of rebellion. You're quite punk rock. You don't have to just shop at Talbot's and Chico's, and that you can also not be the problem judging other people. And one of the things I learned, that when we have these inherent thoughts that jump up in our mind, a self-judgment, let's say, oh, I'm getting old, or oh, look at more wrinkles, whatever the deal is, actually psychology says that in order to sort of break that pattern, you have to just quickly replace it with another thought. So the idea is that if you're looking at yourself and you're like, I look old, or I look stupid in this outfit, or I don't look skinny enough, whatever the deal is, you have to sort of quickly replace that with a positive comment or thought to yourself. And you can do this, you can apply this to when you're looking at other people's posts, photos, etc. out in the world. But a quick replacement will create a pattern of thinking differently over time. And that replacement, in my opinion, can be things like, instead of she's too old to wear that, it could be like, viva la resistance. It could be like, well, look at her being badass. Or like, you do you. Like, and say it to yourself. Say, you do you. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do me. You could be 1,000 pounds overweight and 75 years old, and if you feel like rocking a crop top, then rock a crop top. And we have to let them do that without judgment, and let ourselves do things without judgment, and recognize the inherent ageism, sexism to fight it. Viva la résistance.